Good evening, everyone. Welcome here to the Innovation Café. We have a collaboration tonight with Equal Table in a different setting than usual. It's called Equal Table Light. A little bit more information about Innovation Café. We are a weekly networking event where we offer presentations on the subjects of design and or technology. Today we will have a presentation and then a little bit more of a moderated discussion at the bar. Feel free to take a few drinks then as well. We'll provide a few snacks as well. After the discussion in the bar, we also always give the opportunity for people to stay for the meetup table, and that will be a meal of €19.50, and we will offer a gnocchi made of spinach tonight with roquefort put on a dressing of spinach. Sounds really good. I will ask you later if one of you is interested in staying. But for the rest of the evening, I will have Elena, my partner from Equal Table, talk the night through. And of course, Mado Ruijs from Water natuurlijk is going to give us a presentation about the impact of water in the Netherlands and Brabant especially. So enjoy your evening. Oh, stay in close to you.
Okay guys, hello, my name is Elena and I'm a founder of Equal Table. So I see there's a new faces who never been in Equal Table and maybe ask, what is it? So Equal Table, it's like a talk club, conversation club, where we are involving moderators and audience who become participant in a conversation, engaging conversation. Whereas the goal is your takeaways, whatever you want to take. So what is like original Equal Table? We have a moderator who bring a topic and explaining and sharing their ideas, and then after we have 3 rounds of conversations, and it takes about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. But this time we have a light version. What is it? So we'll have 2 rounds. We'll have a presenter today, Mado Ruijs, that I will introduce you later, and then the second part, second round, we will have a small groups into 3 tables where we will have a moderator and we'll have a conversation there with some interesting questions. So please, after the presentation, don't leave, because we will give you some colors you have to pick that you will be assigned for that table where you're going to be and have a conversation for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to introduce Mado Ruijs. So I want to explain and also share with you why I invited Mado today. I'm an expat, and Netherlands become my second home. And I feel like, responsibility, knowing what is happening, what is around. But when you are an expat, you are kind of focused to stabilize your life. And you don't see what's happening around, the news, what is going on. And I'm sure local people as well, like we are leading busy lives and we don't know what is much news. And like the water topic, it's so essential and so important that I think sometimes we overlooked or maybe not interested too much. So that's why I think Mado, she is an expert in water management, and I think it's so important to hear what's happening in our area. So Mado, please, this is the stage for you.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. Thank you, Elena, because I find it so interesting to tell you about what is happening with water management with our country. And of course, it's a brief presentation, but about the climate change, about all the effects on what it has on our surroundings and neighborhood. And in fact, what it affects as well, us, our health as well. So today I talk about water, about nature, about climate, about health, and about what we can do ourselves, what impact we can have. Of course, everybody small, but it is very necessary that we all do take the opportunity to have the impact. So I talk about sustainable water management, and double click. Briefly, the outline, my story, smart. Then I go into water management. What does it mean? How do we do it in Holland? The main issues at the moment in Brabant. I will focus on Brabant, on our surroundings, Eindhoven as well. And then what we can do as consumers as well and as inhabitants. So that in 20 minutes. and passionate about water, nature, biodiversity. And why? Because everything starts with water. Life starts with water. You know it already, but I feel it as well. And it has motivated me all the time to do the right things for environment. And so that is simply, as a child, I was always playing in the field with ponies, with horses, at a farm. All the time I was outside, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was just common, okay, it will remain always. Well, there has been some changes. I started studying. I chose for medical biology in Utrecht because I wanted to understand things. I'm always curious. I really wanted to know what is health in our physical body and what is when started diseases. So I learned a lot about DNA, molecules, processes, cellular things. Very interesting, but during my study I realized that, oh my God, in fact I want to work for a better environment. And then, after my study, I got a job at the ministry, at 1992, at the Ministry of Public Works and Transport in Rotterdam. And I was a young girl, but already they said, why don't you want to become the project leader of a new innovation project? And that is about the Delta Works. You see the dam, the Haringvliet Dam. It is under Rotterdam. That is one of the first Delta Works. It was realized in 1970. And at that moment, biology wasn't the main object to realize things for the ministry. We had a maintenance of the Delta Works of that Haringvlietsluizen, which was very difficult for fish from the sea to migrate to their upper regions where they end for Germany or to Switzerland. They just couldn't pass the barrage of the Haringvlietsluizen. And they asked me, Mado, do you want to lead a project to try to make changes? Well, we did. For 5 months, we changed the maintenance of the Haringvlietsluizen in 1994. And it was so beautiful because directly the nature and species, of course fish, but as well other species, they directly benefited from the changes which we made in the Haringvlietsluizen. So my bosses, they said, well, we have to continue. Well, afterwards it took still 25 years for the implementation by this government in Holland for a more fish-friendly maintenance of the Haringvlietsluizen. But I want to say it gave me the energy to choose and always to search for the changes for ecosystems to benefit. And our requirements are very important for the health of all the ecosystems. Well, afterwards I went doing other things, and in 2019 I was a member of Water Natuurlijk, and we had elections and we were very big, and they asked me, Mado, do you want to become a member of the executive board of the water board Waterschap de Dommel? Well, that's what I'm doing at the moment, and now I will tell you about all those things about the Dommel. The Dommel River system, I'm very proud of it, because we have in our area 1/3 nature parks, 1/3 agriculture, and 1/3 our villages and cities. For example, Eindhoven, Veldhoven, you all know it, but Tilburg as well, Boxtel, all the small villages as well. And all those functions, they need water, but sometimes the requirements for those functions are contradictory. And the water board has to make the decisions for how to cope with those differences. And that's what we do. But there's a lot of, at the moment, a lot to do about it. In the map of the Dommel region is this one. We have 30 municipalities. Like I said, I named a couple. We have major brooks and streams, But that's what you can see. That's on the surface. But beneath the surface, we have as well our groundwater. And the Waterschap de Dommel is as well, the water boards, they are as well responsible for the upper layer of the groundwater. And if, that's so, it is all is one system. That is, that's important to realize. Where are we working on? We are responsible, the water board is responsible for the water management, so for the management of the water level, for the agriculture, for nature, for our villages, for flora and fauna and ecosystem and biodiversity as well. That's with the climate change and the drought, which I'll come to later, is really difficult, and we are approaching our borders about what is possible to fix. Another major responsibility is to clean our sewage water. And in our area, we are living here with 900,000 inhabitants. So the sewage water of the inhabitants and the companies and everyone, of course, the farmers, of course, we have to clean it. And mostly those are biological processes. We have bacteria who are really doing a great job, but bacteria don't like medicine rest, don't like drugs, don't like microplastics, don't like other chemicals. So that is very difficult for us to get out of it and to lower the levels in our sewage water. Now we are on the next years, we are going to do major investments with technical cleaning as well. With that's really a large amount of techniques and water which we have to. Please come, welcome. Other people can come and sit here as well. We have to do a lot of investments to make the water cleaner, and because our clean water on the surface water is so important for all the functions. But the climate change now at the moment is really a big concern. Last 5 years, you have noticed it. Last 5 years we had 4 extreme dry, hot summers during a long time. It's hotter, it's warmer, I like it as an individual, but the drought is really a very big problem because in our area of the 30 municipalities, which I showed you before, we only have the supply of water from our rain. There's no other source. So if we don't have for 7, 8 or 9 weeks water, then everything gets dry. And the water pollution, the water quality isn't very well yet, but then with the heat and with the lack of water, it decreases again. And for example, on the left side you see algae, and that's not good. Here on the right upper side it is the blauwalg, which causes diseases and illnesses for ourselves and our pets. You don't let your dogs swim or horse or whatever. Don't go in the water when you see the sign blauwalg. You shouldn't do, it's itchy, everything. It's a problem. And but the pollution is as well sometimes caused by pesticides. It's a picture of a field which is still possible to use in Holland. It is called glyphosate. Farmers use it, but it as well, it enters the soil and it comes into the surface water and the groundwater, and that's difficult. And what I said, our sewage water itself is not good as well. So we still have big issues with the water quality, the pollution. The drought, this is our foreland. We are having enormous concerns about our beautiful nature and forests, and I think you like forests as well, or most of the people like cycling, running, or doing or walking or picnicking in the weekends in forest and we really are in danger, almost in danger, because of the lowering of the groundwater level. And if you are in nature and there starts a fire, we don't have water to finish the fire. On the other hand, the farmers, they really directly have problems with the production of their crops. And they need water, and if it isn't, they don't grow. And our brooks, which lack the water, is a direct loss of biodiversity, I think you can imagine. And now in these last 5 years, we have had this problem for 4 summers, and it's getting worse and worse. Another issue, of course, is if it rains, a lot of rain in the summer comes as heavy showers, and the floods is a major issue as well, so that is difficult as well to manage. If it rains, then you want to keep it on the place, but if it is much too much, then you get damage, and it's very difficult to prevent it. I've showed a picture of 1995 that is near Den Bosch, so it's in Brabant. Please come and join. So it's near Brabant, where in 1995, it is in Den Bosch, a dike collapsed because of the heavy showers as well. That was an enormous problem. You see the motorway A2, where you probably passes often on the way to Utrecht or Amsterdam or I don't know where city. This is the motorway A2, and for 1 month, you could canoe over there. Well, 1.5 years ago, Limburg and Germany and Belgium, you have seen it. We all have seen the problems, and that was only the result after 4 or 5 days heavy showers in the Ardennes. And then, well, the casualties, it's awful that it happened and so much casualties in Germany and Belgium. We are lucky that in Holland we didn't have them. And I can explain a bit more about it, but it's for at that moment not necessary. But it's the risk of flooding is as well happening for our area. Well, you see it as well, the farmers, they have their problems if they can't harvest their crops because of the water. Now, sustainable management, there are a couple of changes which we have to make. And our water board, the Dommel, is working on it, and I think we really changed our policy already, but now it takes the implementation in all the way of facts that we have to work, and we work, of course, together with the municipalities to realize it. We have to be a better preparation for the droughts, and of course for the floods. That is clear, but so we have the policy that we have to behold every water drop where it falls, and then the water drops can infiltrate in the soil. That is the main target, and if we do that all, then it will resolve the problem of the drought for a piece, not all, for a piece, and it will diminish the risk of floods. That's necessary. For what we are trying to do is to create much more reservoirs, so in the outer areas and near cities and villages. So to be able to give space to water, if it rains with the heavy showers, to give space to water, to infiltrate, to give space and time to infiltrate. But it needs space, and space, that's, we don't have a lot of space in Brabant. Huh? Yeah. Another thing is what we really have to make changes. That is where it comes to us. Our groundwater level is diminishing, lowering, that's a problem. It's also the cause because we use a lot of groundwater and we pump it up by our drinking water companies, other companies like Coca-Cola or Refresco or major companies, but as well, of course, farmers. But at first I named the drinking water company, and they do it for us. They pump up many amount of the groundwater for drinking water, and that is where I want to talk with you about. So we are working on the reduction of the use of the consumers. We are as well working on the rules for pumping of the farmers. I can't go into this at the moment very deeply, but and of course there's a need for new sources for drinking water in the future, because perhaps you know that in Brabant there is as well the goal of building a lot of many more houses, buildings, and so on. A lot of we are having growing cities and villages. So logically, there comes an increase, of course, of the need of drinking water. So it's, but well, usually when we have a problem as a water board, we'll try to solve it with innovations or all kind of things. Especially this water board, I showed you just a funny example, because, for example, as well in our region, we have problems with fish migration, and there we have in Holland developed a smart fish lift, mind you, and it's really a kind of a lift. It's a very funny thing, it works, but it is, and we are always working with innovations, and it is mostly a combination between technical and biological innovations. But with the main problems which I told you, we are on the border of our possibilities. We are on the limits of our possibilities. And therefore, we have an urgent message for everybody who can contribute to work with us together on those other points as well. We can change our behavior, our use of drinking water. And now I have a question, because we are all consumers. I have a question for you about the daily average drinking water. What do you think? What is the average in Holland at the moment? And well, I have three categories: 50 to 80 liters a day per person, or 90 to 120 liters daily per person, or 130 to 200 liters per person. Who thinks about A? Raise your hand, please. Who thinks it's A? No? Nobody? Who thinks it's B? Yeah? And who thinks it's C? Okay. Well, I have to congratulate people with B, because that's the right sign. We usually drink 120 we use it liters a day. And well, you can read it a bit about how we use it. Showering is a lot, yeah? And but as well, our toilet use is as well quite a lot of drinking water still. While the government recently gave the goal, a sign, that we have to reduce in future 20% of our drinking water. That's quite a target. Well, here I want to talk with you about, because do you recognize that it is an important goal for trying to reduce your water consumption? It starts with being aware of how it is all managed at the moment, or how it is at the moment, what are the facts. And we try to we try to talk about it as a waterboard. And for example, at the moment in Holland, our toilets are still flushed with drinking water, and it should be, in fact, should be flushed with secondary water. That is, in fact, a very logical solution. And in Belgium, they have already the regulations why the houses are already built in that way that they can use their rainwater to go through the house for the toilet. And but Holland has to change their regulations, and like I said, in Holland some things really take a lot of time. But another thing which you can think about is if you have a house yourself, then the suggestion is to use the water not for in the sewage, the rain roof, the water which comes on the rain from the rain on the roof, that it goes now directly to the sewage and to our plants. But in fact, the rainwater is nearly clear, and in fact, it should remain in the gardens. It should remain in the area of the municipalities. Then it can infiltrate in the soil, and it can benefit for your plants, for your garden, having and the trees, of course, having cool, nice green gardens in summer when it's hot. Want you know, maybe you know that adult tree is the best air conditioning, in fact, for which we can have. It solves the heat. So that's what it's maybe for you to think about it. Well, this is what I come to. I'd like to hear if you have questions about it. I talked about trying to reduce our water use, and so that you maybe can think about how I use it at home, and for example, the showers is a thing to think about. And of course, if you build your house, then you can use installations with the secondary water use, and you can use, as third example, the rain for the roof, that it passes to your gardens. Yeah, good deal. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dutch, obviously, but I've had some conversations online with expats who all bought water to drink from bottles. So I would like to ask, how many of you don't drink the water from the tap, but buy drinking water? No?
Is everybody drinking? Well, she asked a question whether you choose for buying bottles, drinking water in bottles, and not using the water from the tap. Everybody uses water from the tap? Yeah? That's great, because we have beautiful, very high quality drinking water. Yeah. Mayra.
Yeah, I have a question about, you mentioned at the beginning the difficulties of microplastics and chemicals and medicines. How efficient is the system to clean the water? Because I think the water, after being cleaned, is being thrown into the river. How clean is that?
Yeah, and that's a good question. Well, I told you that we have made an enormous investment as well, and we can't clean it all. We can't reduce it to 0%. It is not possible, because it's still not. But we are going to reduce it with 70%. So then, and new techniques we need, in fact, because we will reduce it probably with ozonization. I don't know if you heard about it. We did pilots with the effectiveness of ozonization and active coil, PACAS, I don't know, active coil is as well a way to clean things. Those difficult micros, because those are the difficult micros. Yeah. So I hope it will succeed. We are.
And is the same technology is being used in the different water boards, or
Yeah,
every water board has its own technology?
No, in Holland, I didn't show you, but in Holland we have 21 water boards. Everybody has his own characteristics. And for example, we are not beneath the, we're not close to the Maas, so we don't have very huge dikes to the Maas. That's other water boards have huge dikes as well. We have only small dikes. But so 21 water boards, and we work together. And the technology is all exchanged. Our specialisms are exchanged. Yeah. Excuse me, I saw a question. Please tell me.
Yeah. Thanks for the very interesting presentation. So you mentioned the role of the consumer in water, which is obviously very important. But just out of curiosity, what is the you showed the three kind of big user groups of water. So what is the relative percentages of those in the total usage?
Yeah. Well, some facts. Drinking water in Brabant, so we are 1/3 of Brabant, so drinking water Brabant uses 200 million square meters groundwater. Yeah? 200 million square meters groundwater. Per year.
Cubic.
No, it's not, cubic meters. Yeah, cubic meter, thank you. Coca-Cola, the companies like really industries, they use about 30 million cubic meter. The farmers use in a normal year about 40 million cubic meter, but on very dry years it rises to 100 million cubic meter. And the point is, so we pump up about this amount, and the extra which can enter the soil is in a normal year, it is the half of which we pump up. It is 50%, it infiltrates. So we are in we call it a negative water balance. This province is the only province which has a negative water balance in Holland. So what I showed you about the drought is a real big concern, and the government knows it, and everybody now in Brabant knows it, and now you know it as well. Because this negative water balance is not from the last years of those climate change, no. It is the result of decades already. So the solutions which I talked a bit about with you will take time as well. We are not able to solve this in a couple of 5 or 10 years, but we have to start to stabilize the situation. We really have to, and we are able to do it as well. Yeah. Yeah. Have you got an idea about the amounts at the moment?
Yeah. If I'm permitted, a follow-up question.
Yeah. But and then afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So you say that Brabant is the only one with a deficit, let's say.
Yeah.
So why?
Because we have a lot of beautiful cities. Yeah, we like to live here as well, and we have a lot of companies who to pump up and use the water. And what did you say?
It's the beer.
It's the beer as well. Yeah, I didn't mention the beer, but it is because of our beautiful drinking water that those companies use and come to Brabant for the beer, for the quality, but as well that it is. We have changed our policy at the moment, but many years, from the 60s, in the last decade, the policy was focused on let go the water. We don't want to keep it, and so our outer areas are designed just to let pass the water, and that's our first responsibility for what we are changing at the moment. For example, the big reservoirs, but it takes space, and space is very important here in Brabant at the moment. Okay, first you, and then I come to you.
You mentioned that the government is going to ask to decrease the consumption of water by 20%. So did they say why would they make such a request? Like, are they foreseeing something that?
In fact, what we are dealing with at the moment in Brabant is the enormous use of drinking water is as well a problem in other provinces. But then the groundwater level is as well there a problem, but in some provinces is as well the salt introduction from the sea in our soils underneath. The salty groundwater is entering, and that is as well devastating for everything, for farming as well. So there are as well other reasons, but so we have to work on it, and it is in fact a goal which we can reach. Huh? Yeah, excuse me, because yeah.
I'm curious about the solutions you mentioned to preserve rainwater, for
Mm-hmm.
example, roof gardens or
Mm-hmm.
gardens. And I imagine this requires a lot of action from residents. So are there any policies in place to finance these solutions or co-finance it with the municipalities? Are there any regulations?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question. Because our water board, we like to stimulate the right behavior. For example, the water off the roofs, we want to keep it in the gardens. So our water board has stimulated financial financial budgets, and we work together with the municipalities. Because municipalities, they are, in fact, they have the responsible about the water in the streets, and that's where they are from. So we have to work together, and we have a lot of projects working as well with this municipality Eindhoven and Veldhoven as well. Yeah.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah.
Excuse me, madam.
Excuse me.
One more? Okay.
Gele.
Sorry.
I just want to go back to the question of the gentleman over there. I'm also
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in the general board of the water board, the general board, yeah, and Gudule as well.
You asked about the three different groups of water users in our area, and it's the big industries, companies in general, but especially big industries like Coca-Cola, but also the breweries, who use a lot of their groundwater. Also cities, of course, we are citizens of the cities, but the third group is agriculture, so the farmers, and that's a big problem as well. Mado explained a little bit about that, about in dry years how much they extract from the groundwater, how big that's a big problem. And you all, I suppose you all heard about the discussion in the Netherlands about
Stikstof?
Stikstof, yeah. Stikstof.
Nitrogen.
Yeah. So that's, in our area is a lot of, I'm looking for the word, cattle, cattle raising. And farmers are growing lots of crops who don't go to human food, but to cattle feed. So, and those crops, as well as the cattle itself, uses a lot of water. So that's a problem because the profits of that industry, of that agriculture, don't stay in our region, but the farmers over here produce for the global market. Mm-hmm. So a lot of water is extracted from our,
groundwater
soil.
system and
And we don't get the benefits of that production. And also we are trying to help those farmers to produce in a more sustainable way, which takes a lot of money and a lot of patience because they are trained, they have been trained for generations after World War II to mass produce because we didn't want hunger anymore. It's gone too far. So that's a big problem for our water board as well.
Yeah, that's a bit of our discussions which we have in the water board and outside. Yeah.
Mado?
Yes,
So you say only 50% of the water
infiltrates.
So we are negative right now. 50% rain coming in and water being used. And there are no other sources of water that are viable, like using water.
No.
Okay. And then you use rainwater, for instance, that would usually run off through the sewer. Then of course you put it to use in the toilet. That makes sense. But if you use rainwater that would not go to the sewer, and you use it for another purpose, and then it goes to the sewer, you miss it in the groundwater.
No. In fact, we all calculated about it. Well, we are very, very glad if we get less rainwater in our sewage plants.
Yeah,
we are very, that's for sure. Huh? And so we really have a target for working on it. So we are working on it. But so the point is that we are not, we having so much water in our, from our drinking water process to our sewage and to our plants and then cleaning, and then it returns in nature in our brooks. So that's still a lot. So we are not concerned about a lack of effluent or sewage water. Is that what you meant? No.
So you, if you pump the water you use for the toilet from groundwater, that is indeed very obviously wasteful. So if you use rainwater instead, you add water to the sewer from the drain that might otherwise go to the groundwater because your rainwater is draining to...
In fact, it is... it's anyway, it's the specialists have calculated on it, it's no problem. I mean, in fact, we use much more for our high quality drink water than we use it, or then we can make the small cycle. That's because you're talking about the amounts of the big cycle with drinking water to sewage water and of our local small cycles. In fact, they can contribute each other. Talk about it.
You know what, Mado, I have to jump in.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
yes, we have to finish our session, but I really appreciate your questions, and you can ask all your questions after, because we have a conversation session, and then we will also can talk with Mado. Thank you so much for your presentation. I think it was knowledgeable, and you received lots of information. So I want to maybe add that if you're really interested to learn more, you can go to their website, Water Natuurlijk, it's there, and really read more. And I know that in our community there is many cyclers. People like to cycling. So there is a organization called Cycling for Climate, where you can have a estafette from Brabant to Groningen in one day. I think it's quite impressive. So if you like to cycle and you want to challenge yourself, you definitely need to check it out and see it. So now I'm going to go to just really want to share with you upcoming events, which are going to be in May 25th. We are preparing new discussion We don't reveal the topic yet, but if you can follow us on Instagram, you can definitely see what is that, what it's going to be. So, and now we are going to the our second round conversation. So you can have, I think, 5-8 minutes to have your time and order the drink. And when you will leave this venue, Anouk will give you some kind of a color paper that just pick the color you like. And then we will, I think, sit down about 6:35, something like that, at the table where you like the color that belongs to you. And then we can have some discussion about 30 minutes. Okay, so that's, yes?
And maybe, yeah, I wanted to notice, but there are upcoming elections on Wednesday, and probably you have gotten stempas, and internationals are as well allowed to vote. So use your right to vote, and I hope you have some information. There are a couple of parties where you can choose from. Only one, yeah, no, there's a couple of, use the information which you heard about it, and we have information on English as well, Turkish and Arabic as well. So we hope that you use your right, because every vote counts, because we have to be strong to make the changes, and it's not easy. Thank you.
Exactly, thank you.
I forgot it.
Hey, you're still here. So you like the video. If you want, subscribe and click the bell.